you guys. I hope you are having a fantastic day. I am going through my windowsills and looking and checking the plants and seeing which ones need to go under the grow lights. It is the middle of January here in northern Idaho, and I have rotated many of my plants under the grow lights already, but some of them I've been keeping out for as long as I can to enjoy them. And I thought I would just take you guys along with me and point out some of my plants and why they do or don't need to go under the grow lights and go from there. So I'll start at this end, move this guy over just a little bit. And so here we have a lovely little thimble cactus, which is a mammillaria, gracilis fragilis, if anyone cares to know. And they are these cute little clumpy cactuses named thimble cactus for obvious reasons, as most of these little segments are about thimble size. They do get larger segments on them, but in general they keep this kind of appearance as they keep adding more little clumps, as you can see. Now this guy, this is a southern window, and so this is the most exposed to light that I have, but this year we have had exceptionally cloudy weather here. Just as an example, I think last year I didn't put my lithops under grow lights until late December or early January. And this year for my lithops, they went under grow lights in October because it was that cloudy, like the end of October. And so a lot of plants that would usually do just fine for me in a southern window, not under grow lights at all, are struggling this year because it has just been too frickin' cloudy. So for this guy, as you can see here, some of the segments, this way is a better way to do it. Some of these segments are kind of stretching out. And how I tell is when the little clusters of needles, so to speak, start spreading out and getting farther apart. That's how I tell, kind of. So on this side that's been turned to the window, you can see the needles are a lot denser, a lot more dense. And on this side, if you can see down at the bottom especially, let me see if holding it against, yeah, there we go, holding it, I'm sorry, the light was glaring. On this side, you can see they're a lot more dense where they've been getting light, and on this side, there's a lot more green in between, and you can see a lot more green. That's just them stretching out. And so when you can start seeing, sorry, I have to set that back down here with the light, but when you can start seeing more green around the needle clusters, usually that's an indication of them starting to etiolate. And so he is going to go under the grow light for me just because I like to keep him nice and compact. Alrighty, moving right along, we have this, which I have a long fern frond hanging down here, but well, he's just not going to cooperate. We have this silver dollar plant, which is the most common name that I have heard for these guys, at least here in the States. It's a Xerocissius dangai is the actual name of the plant if you're somewhere other than where they call them silver dollar plants and would like to look it up. For this guy, these guys are more shade loving. It's a vining plant. You can see it had sent out some little tendrils here trying to attach and didn't have anything to really attach them to. But these guys don't need as much really direct sunlight as a lot of them because they tend to grow underneath trees and kind of climb up trees. They're not epiphytes, so they're not growing in trees, but they tend to be growing in more shady places. And so I wasn't expecting to put this guy under the grow lights. However, the spacing on his leaves, so I only have one hand here, but the spacing from this leaf here to this leaf, they're getting larger. And the side that's near the window is a bit more compact. Some of these older shoots, like this one here, sorry, my camera got it going the wrong way. These ones here you can see, you know, about a finger width. They're just a little bit more or less, you know, apart. And then we get up here and you can see how, you know, I can fit a good 2 fingers between some of these. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it needs grow lights, but I have a really small, not very strong grow light that I'm gonna put on him just to make sure he stays happy. If we keep getting more sunny weather, which is more typical for us here in the winter like this, like it is today, then I'll probably just leave him here and in a southern facing window. But if the spacing on the leaves starts getting any more, I'm gonna go ahead and supplement him with some light, because I would like to keep him, he's not gonna stay compact because he's a vine, but I would like to keep him from etiolating as much as possible, because this guy, for whatever reason, I really, really like him. Or her, I'm not sure. These guys have male and female in the plants, and so you have to have a male and a female for them to make seeds. And I don't know yet, because this guy hasn't tried to bloom for me. I have no idea what he or she is. All right, moving right along. This is a lovely Irish bouquet. So it's an aeonium. Lindleyi, which the variation is viscatum, but they are an aeonium, just kind of a more compact. I'm gonna move this one against the wall here so you guys can see it a little better too. They're a little bit more compact and leafy and have a smaller, you can still tell it's very aeonium-like, and the stems will grow up and out. This guy was some very, very sad cuttings that I got just about a year ago, and buried all of their stems trying to give them the best chance possible to root, because they were just, yeah, in horrific shape. And but it has recovered nicely. And it is just starting to stretch out also. As you can see, the spacing between the leaves, the very top clusters, if I can hold this here, sorry. Let me see. Okay, so here on the tops, these top leaves are about the right amount of spacing, but as it starts going down the stem, the spacing is getting farther between the layers of leaves, and so that tells me that it could use a bit more light. Now, aeoniums don't like a ton of really harsh direct sun. A lot of times, some of them do, some of them love it, but they're a little bit more water loving, and they don't need quite as much intense light, some of the varieties. So poking him under, I'm going to poke him in a grow tent where the lights are on for about 8 hours a day is all, and see how he does. He should be happy. These are various Peperomia species, and they're fine. They're not going to go anywhere, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time on those. This is a type of crashula, a dew bush, and again, I don't have any of the really compact leaves to show you on this guy because he's kind of gone on like this for a while. I kept thinking the sun's going to come out, but it just, now finally the last 2 days it has been out, but before then it was just a long time coming. And so the spacing again is what has changed on these guys. They were more compact, and they should be more, and the stem growth between the leaves are getting more and more. So this guy is also going to go under grow lights. The Peperomia gravelins here, the red varieties here, they're the same. If I can, oh, I missed a plant here. Sorry, hang on. We got one more here that I missed. A tiny, tiny, tiny little lithops. And this was, someone sent me this adorable little pot with this guy in it, and I just haven't taken him out. I haven't felt well and haven't removed him, but I'm going to do that and replant him soon. But he is birthing, as you can see, and it looks like he's got another head right under the edge of this side here that's also going to come out. So it looks like he's got 2 sets of leaves that are going to come out, whereas it was just one. But this was a really, really tiny little guy, and he is etiolating a bit. You can see here the light green color, and just the fact that he's this much taller than this old set of leaves here lets me know that he's etiolating. So he's going to go in a new pot actually, and then go under the grow lights with all of the other lithops. I have a pot that has two. This is just a year old, which is why it's so tiny, and this, I have another pot that's has about 3 other year-old lithops, so he will join them and get more light. This window probably would have been enough, being as small as he is, and because he was doing quite well. I'm not sure what variety he is, but he's been doing surprisingly well with not a ton of light. But with him being this tiny, he sits down too low and just misses any even of the southern light that we were having. All right, back to the Peperomia. Here, these guys, you would think that you could just look at the reddish color and know that they are getting enough light because of the color, but these guys really take quite a while to lose this red color, and they start etiolating before they lose it. So with this guy, you can see here about the spacing of the leaves, which is, this is about normal, and these guys are really stretching out. You can see how long the spacing is here between this leaf set and then this guy and then this guy, and so I don't want him to stretch out anymore. I love these guys, and so these guys are definitely going to go under the lights as well. While we're here, this is another Peperomia variety, and I've just moved him here. He's been up in the window. I just moved him away here for the video to make room, and you can see he's blooming here, which this is what their flower spikes look like. They're not very conspicuous. This is another flower spike for this variety. And this variety, yep. Here, these are the spikes on these guys. So this is just what their flower spikes look like. They're very inconspicuous. They look like weird stems if you don't know what's happening. And they come from different places depending on the variety. But this guy is stretching out as well. They do this when they're blooming anyways. They stretch out and then the bloom stalks will die back down here, so it looks like they're really etiolating, and they're not nearly that much because they will just die back. But the stems here are just less compact than they were, and so once they start changing for me, that's why I really love to take pictures of my plants at various times just for myself, and then it's a great reference point to remember, is that guy stretching out, or is that normal? Because I really like to enjoy my plants in my windows as much as possible, but I want to keep them healthy and happy also. So there's just a dance that you have to do. This guy I just found back behind this pot, and I don't know how long he's been back there. This was a gift for my birthday, for Easter last year, that someone sent me, a cousin, and it has been in this glued in little pot ever since then, which I just found it and was like, oh, I'm gonna take it out. So I'm hopefully gonna do that today. It's a Haworthia, and this brownish, I'm gonna move it here by the wall again, out of the sun. Well, actually it looks quite green here, especially against the green, but it's kind of a yellow, yeah, you can see the color better in the light here. This yellowish reddish color, it's kind of a brownish, and even the tips are brownish, and that is from too much light. And so these guys do that when they're stressed, probably also not enough water being glued in here, and being that I forgot about him for who knows how long because he was hiding. And so this guy does not need more light. He's gonna go in a new pot and then over in a different non-southern window for a while. This is a Sansevieria cylindrica. The cylindrical Sansevierias, the round leafed ones. This is a juvenile, so all of the leaves are still in their juvenile stage, which are kind of pokey and have edges on them. And then when they grow out, then they look like this. Obviously not braided. This is just an example of what the round leaves look like if you are wondering and haven't seen them. But as you can see, well, you can't see this. These were cuttings that were planted. If you find a braided I think I've made a video on this before, but if not, if you find a braided Sansevieria like this, it's almost guaranteed that it's a cutting, not a big plant. And you might even see a really big one and think, wow, that's a huge plant for a great price. Well, it's a huge cutting, and they may or may not root, but one of the best ways to know if they've rooted is if there are little shoots coming up inside of the pot with it. And when you buy it, if there are shoots coming up, then you know that this guy has rooted. Now, this guy isn't going to keep growing. He's not going to keep sending out shoots. Nothing is going to happen, but these guys will continue to grow. And this guy will stay fine and happy for, you know, possibly even years. And, but anyways, that's just a side note. But these guys send up juvenile leaves that are a different kind. When I got this one, I figured that out because I was like, well, it has to be, because I had seen some marked as cylindrical Sansevieria and they had pokey leaves, and I was like, well, they must be mislabeled. And I had tried to research it and couldn't find anything about it, but finally I figured it out and found some articles and asked some people, and yeah, so everything made sense to me again. Anyways, okay, here we go. So this guy is not, Sansevieria are pretty tolerant of whatever conditions they're given, and this southern exposure is just fine for them. He's not showing any signs of needing anything really in particular. This lovely little purple moon cactus, with these guys it can be difficult to tell how much light they need or don't need, because they don't grow fast enough to really etiolate and show you that there's something wrong. And so the one thing they can do is turn green when they're not getting enough light instead of a good dark purple. The other thing is, and my brain just went blank right as I said the other thing is. Oh, the other thing is I just look at the surrounding plants. So this is a true, you know, desert cactus. So if plants like the Peperomia and the silver dollar plant, etc., are starting to show signs that they're stretching out, and the crassula here, then you can just bet your bottom dollar that this cactus would like more light. And so I just go ahead and say, it doesn't matter what you're telling me, I'm going to put you under the grow light, because it's obvious from all of your friends around you that you would like more light. So this lovely guy, I'm just going to go here away from the light again for just a minute. This lovely guy is an Echeveria agavoides ebony. And the agavoides just means agave-like. And if you look at this, you can see how it is very agave kind of looking. It's a bit more structured and angular and pokey looking than most Echeveria. And so that's why it gets its name. But there are several different varieties which are just colorational. They're just marked differently for the coloration. There's a lipstick, which is a bright pink tipped, and there's an ebony, which is a dark brown / black, you know, it just looks like ebony. And this is an ebony. And so if this was a lipstick, you can see the pretty little pink tips. This still would need more sun if it was a lipstick, because the tips, the coloration is supposed to go in farther. But especially since it's an ebony, it's telling me I need more light, because the color is just lightening and lightening and lightening. And so that's why I am going to put this guy under the grow light also. You can see this white stuff on it. This is just hard water from our well water, and you can take a little Q-tip with some alcohol and just wipe it off, and it'll be just fine, but it doesn't hurt them either. But so this guy is going to go under the grow light as well. I think that's pretty much this guy would like a little bit more light. He's but he's doing, oops, oh no, that one was a bad leaf. He's doing good. He's just underwatered. He needs a little bit bigger pot, and the potting medium isn't great on this guy, and wants a little bit more light. But he is moving to this lovely little hook right here, where he will have great southern exposure and should be happy, so I'm not worried about him. This lovely little Haworthia is just waking up from dormancy finally. It was one of my last ones to really start waking up, and it would like a little bit more light, but it has been away from the window here. And so it's just, when some of these move, some of the plants that have been in west and east windows are going to go into south windows. and some of the plants that have been away from windows altogether, which this gets bright southern and west light all day, and then sun part of the day still here on the shelf, but it is going to go into a west window and get some nice bright light, which most of my Haworthias are in west windows. A couple are in the south windows because they were just going crazy, and I wasn't sure if they were just having a huge growth spurt or if they were etiolating, and it appears they were just having a big growth spurt. But if I ever worry that they're not getting enough light, I just move them somewhere brighter. I never put my Haworthias, unless it's by accident, under a grow light. I have never found it necessary, and it's just too intense for them. A few have gone under grow lights kind of accidentally because they were in a seeding tray with other plants or whatever, and it's always too harsh for them, and they just don't like it in my experience. I think that's pretty much it. These guys are good. That's just a Thanksgiving cactus, Schlumbergia, and the rest of these guys are orchids and whatnot. This guy is a lovely Hatiora, and he has been here. He gets, as you can see, the light on him here. He gets light from the southern window for a few hours a day, but it's kind of speckled. It's shining through pots that are hanging in the window, etc. But and they have so many different growth types on these guys. Some of them are really short and compact and look almost just like mistletoe. Some of them are really like this. They look more like seed pods, and they have the little tips like this. That, yeah, it almost looks like a rose bush that didn't produce very plump rose hips on this, and it has a totally different feel. They feel seedy, and these guys feel fleshy and soft. And now it's putting out this new growth, which is long and kind of noodle-like, and this is new. I haven't seen this on these guys for me, and I'm thinking that the segments probably shouldn't be quite as long as they are, but I'm not positive because my other guy has been almost predominantly this type of growth. This really compact, fleshy with these little baby hairs. And so I'm thinking he may be needing a bit more light, especially because it's been so cloudy, and when it's cloudy he doesn't even get bright light sitting back here away from the windows. So he's going to move into a south window for a little while and see how he likes it. And yeah, to be determined. He has been not in a window, just with really bright light for, I don't know, year and a half, somewhere around there, and has just been happy as a lark. And so I really don't know if he needs more light, but since this is a new type of growth for him, I decided to try and see if he likes it. So once these guys here are moved into the grow tent, then that'll make plenty of room for other guys to come out. All right, this Peperomia, and it's got a hold of the fern. Sorry, hang on just a second. Let's go. There we go. I'm gonna go over here against the wall so that you can see this. This Peperomia prostrata is doing just fine. He didn't like the cloudy weather, and so some of these outside tendrils were kind of sparse for a little while, but they're really coming in great, and he's pretty happy. And so he's just gonna stay here in a southern window. If he needs more light, we will keep an eye on him, definitely. Oh, and the burrow's tail. I'm not gonna take this one down. This burrow's tail is this now? This one won't spin. I may have to take him down. Is just on the edge. Okay, so at the end here, sorry, that was banging into my plant. So at the end here, this is how the growth should look. See how compact this is, and the spacing in the leaves, just bang, 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 bang. So we move over here like to this leaf, and see how far the spacing is here? So this is etiolation, and this is because I turn him so you can see this side is really long, and then this side is much shorter. So this is the side that's had a lot more sun, and I usually turn him, and I got sick and didn't turn him for as long as I typically would, and so Let me just spin him around, show you this other side. And so all of the stems were pointing, you know, trying to get sun, and it was just, like I've said repeatedly, so cloudy. This isn't bad. He's not severely etiolated at all, but he would definitely like more sun, and I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do with him yet because I just don't have enough room in my grow tent to hang a plant. And so yeah. And he can't sit anywhere without really breaking off leaves and stems, which I could put him on a stool, but then I don't have a space that's tall enough for that because I needed the room shelf-wise. Anyways, you guys don't care about my grow light problems, just rambling on about it. But anyways, but I'm gonna figure out something. I do have a couple smaller grow lights. I'm just not sure how to get them hanging up with him. So anyways, we will figure it out. I do have a hook right up here that I could, if I could hang something down and point it on him, then he would like that, just so that this side got bright light and then this side had another grow light just pointed right here, you know, for a few hours a day. I think would be plenty because of the southern window, especially if the weather perks up like it should. Anywho, the only other plant I have here is this dogtail, and the sun is bright. He's doing fine. I am hopefully going to put him under a couple grow lights too, just because he was really deprived of light when I got him about 6 months ago, and then it's been so cloudy to get that deprived again. I just worry about him, and since I'm not as familiar with how fast they start etiolating, I'm probably going to get them under a grow light too, although I really love looking at him here in the window. But I'll just miss them for a while, and they shall return. Alrighty, you guys, that's it for this window slash area of my room. There's many more areas that I'll go over, but that's all for today. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. If you would like to join the Facebook group that I talk about now and then, there will be a link in the description box below. Feel free to join. It's a lot of fun. And until next time, I will talk to you later. Happy growing.